What you see behind us here is the lithium-ion battery processing area, where the lithium-ion batteries are collected from up in the field, up at the properties, brought down here, processed, and made safe before being sent back off for disposal.
Is there any other materials being sorted here?
Yeah, on the other sort of side at the far end of the State Beach here is where the household hazardous materials are as well being brought down, containerized in the field, but brought down, sorted, and then shipped off-site to appropriate disposal facilities. So the heat damage, mechanical impact can set it off into that thermal runaway really quick. So that's why it's so important, and why we actually have special teams out there to deal with those, is because if they're not completely burned, they are dangerous. Our first time we touch them, we collect them in the field, we put them in drums, right? So we get our hands around it, and it makes it one step safer, right? Then it's transported from the field to the processing area.
Scooping up the batteries that have been flattened, putting them in a drum, right? So they're wet, they're crushed already, done in a drum.
When you look at the totality of the batteries out there, we're talking millions of batteries, right?
Yeah.
So currently with this mission, we have pulled electric vehicles and energy storage systems from over 1,000 properties across both zones. We're expecting, I would say, upwards of 500 tons of damaged lithium-ion batteries that we will be processing through this.
Wow.
But we have found a method where we could bring them down here and release the energy. So we call it stranded energy. Because once you bring the energy down and you get rid of that electricity, they become safer to deal with.
So you put them in the brine and it neutralizes them, and then where does that stranded energy go?
It goes to the ground, right? So it goes, through the metal to the ground. And I can just show this. So this is the electrolytic brine.
Okay.
Right, so here's our salt water. So when the batteries come down, we have identified ones that still have that stranded energy, right? That are still potentially dangerous.
How many are still do you find? Oh, wow.
So there's a scooter, right? So the scooter, and you can see the same batteries that are in that scooter, the same ones you would find in a energy storage
How
system.
often would you say still has energy that needs to be neutralized? Is that common?
Yes, and it's definitely not uncommon. Obviously, I would say most of the consumer electronics, most of the scooters, most of the sort of the smaller things that we're kind of seeing here, generally don't survive because the plastic doesn't insulate the batteries very well. So this is how we build it, right? So it's a visqueen plastic here. So we've essentially built a pool, right? It's controlled on all four sides. This is a secondary containment, which is an even thicker, even more designed layer. Then we have rubber mats, and then we've laid down. This is looks about a 3/4 inch steel plate. So an extremely robust steel plate. That is what we use to actually press the batteries.
Oh, this is steel. And what happens if there's a big weather event like we had? How is that going to impact this operation here?
Sure. Well, that's kind of why you can see it's called housekeeping, right? So all of our drums are bolted, sealed, and then also covered. If there's a weather event, generally we won't be working during that, right?
So the question was, why was it down on this side, the processing of this, versus this side when this is so close to the ocean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's, the space is obviously at a premium here, right? If you look at the other side of the road, there's very little flat area, right? So finding that area that is flat is good. Additionally, this is paved, right? So you already have a hard barrier.
Have you felt the opposition from the local community about the site being here?
I'm the battery technical specialist.
Yeah.
I would pass that to somebody. I've just been focusing on leading the battery mission in both Palisades and Eaton. We've actually completed our mission today. So we're done with phase 1 operations for the household.
It's officially, that's the phase 1 of the hazard. Yeah,
exactly. No more batteries will be delivered to this area. So what we have here is what we'll work through, and then that'll be the end of the battery operations.
And then what's going to happen with this location, this site, after you leave?
I don't know. Do we know what's going to happen after this site? I know it'll be clean when we leave. I've dedicated my career to protecting the environment, to protecting human health, specifically, in our marine ecosystem here.
Do you know where all this is going to be disposed of, or what landfill this will be assigned to?
Yeah, I think most of it's going to a hazardous waste disposal facility in Utah.
In Utah?
Yes. And so we have, it's through our contractors, our main, one of our prime contractors works with the transport and disposal of all these hazardous materials. So the batteries will go to one landfill, maybe your pool chemicals will go to another, but these are all appropriate, permitted hazardous waste disposal facilities.